You know those old school movies where they find some ancient tomb or artifact and it's covered in creepy crawlies? Well, today we're going to talk about one of the most successful groups of creepy crawlies that ever existed. They are the forgotten kingdom of the Trilobites. Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today we're talking about trilobites. The name trilobite comes from the Greek word for three lobes. And when you look at their fossil remains, you can see why. They had a large central lobe and two smaller side lobes. But there was a whole lot more to these guys than just their looks. Trilobites were arthropods, the same group that includes insects, spiders, and crustaceans. Like other arthropods, they had jointed legs and a segmented body. But unlike most of their arthropod cousins, they only lived in the ocean. The oldest known fossils of trilobites come from around 521 million years ago in what is now Canada. That makes them older than the first dinosaurs, older than the first humans, and even older than the first trees. During their heyday, in the late Ordovician and Silurian periods, trilobites came in a huge variety of shapes and sizes. The largest was paradoxides, which could grow more than 60 centimeters long. The smallest was the aptly named Liliputina, which was less than a centimeter long. Some were round, some were flat. Some were smooth, while others were covered with spines. They lived in all the world's oceans, from the poles to the equator. And they were so common that there were probably hundreds of species that we haven't even found yet. Like many modern arthropods, trilobites molted, growing a new exoskeleton as they got bigger. They also had a hard protective shell, kind of like a turtle, which may have helped them survive for so long. Trilobites mostly ate by filtering tiny plants and animals out of the water, but some were active predators. The biggest and strongest of the trilobites could even prey on each other. Even though they ruled the oceans for so long, we don't know much about how trilobites reproduced. Most of what we know comes from a single genus called Marella. Unlike most other trilobites, Marella lived in shallower waters where they were more likely to get stranded on land. This would have exposed them to air, which made their bodies desiccate and eventually led to their extinction. Because Marella lived in such a harsh environment, they evolved to have more efficient ways of reproducing. They developed paired gonads, meaning that they could produce both eggs and sperm at the same time, which may have increased their chances of finding a mate. Fossils of Marella also show evidence of brooding behavior, where the parent carries their young on their back until they're ready to hatch. This might have helped protect their eggs and embryos from being eaten by other animals. While Marella evolved to survive life on land, this ended up being a key part of their evolution and gave us an incredible amount of insight into the lives of trilobites. But not all trilobites were so lucky. Around 252 million years ago, at the end of the Permian period, almost all marine life went extinct, including all the trilobites except for a few small groups. Their extinction came at the same time as the largest mass extinction event in history, but no one is sure exactly why. It might have been because of massive volcanic eruptions in what is now Siberia, which caused global temperatures to rise and ocean levels to fall. Even though the causes are still debated, the effects were clear. Trilobites were never quite as diverse again. And after 270 million years of ruling the oceans, the last of the trilobites died out during the Triassic period, right around the time that dinosaurs first appeared. Now you might think that they went extinct because of competition with the dinosaurs, but that can't be right. Dinosaurs were land animals, and trilobites were sea creatures. There must have been other reasons why trilobites couldn't make a comeback after the mass extinction. Maybe it was because they had already reached their maximum size, or maybe because they didn't evolve quickly enough to take advantage of new ecological opportunities. Whatever the reason, this goes to show that even the most successful groups of organisms can go extinct. So the next time you see a bug, remember that its ancestors were related to some pretty amazing creatures that once ruled the earth. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe my channel to support my work. See you next time.